Welcome to the Freedom Culture. All right. Here at the Freedom Culture, I like to discuss current events in the financial sector, this new digital economy, and also breaking down blockchain technology in the most understandable terms possible. That's what I like to do. I like to make complex things simple, demystify it, and bring it to the common language in a conversational tone. And I'm sure you're aware there's so many things going on. As usual, whenever I come on here, there's so many things going on. But I just wanted to give my 2 cents on what's going on and how I'm going about it. You know, here at the Freedom Culture, we're about freedom. You know, mostly financial freedom. There's other layers to freedom, of course. But once you achieve financial freedom, you have the freedom to be free in other aspects, to me. And when it comes to financial freedom, my angle is mostly to counteract the CBDCs, central bank digital currencies that's rolling out indefinitely. And I feel like a lot of people aren't aware enough. So I try to spread more awareness, because once this thing is successfully implemented, a lot of freedoms will be taken away from individuals, from a lot of citizens. There's going to be a lot of things that you thought you could do, that you're used to doing, that you won't be able to do anymore. So, and in order to roll these things out, it's going to have to be strategic. So, of course, the agencies, intelligent agencies, don't want people to be fully aware of what's going on, because they might reject it, you know? And this is something that they need in order to save themselves. My theory, the government's only job is to exist. Their job is to make sure that you need them, you know? So, like, what does the government have to do with money? When you think about it, if you got money, take away the government, it's still money, you know? So why does the government have to be involved with money? So that's how cryptocurrency was born. Bitcoin was born in 2009. And that came out of the banking crisis of 2008. There's a lot of people didn't know what they was doing. They was giving out loans. Everything that the movie Big Short was about. You should definitely check into that movie. So Bitcoin was born, and it's decentralized currency. It's supposed to be decentralized currency. It's supposed to be away from the bank. Supposed to be away from any third-party counter risk. You know, it's supposed to be the solution. However, once Bitcoin became popular, now the big wigs are in, and now the banks adopted it. You know, now there's ETFs, there's all kinds of corporations, big time corporations involved in Bitcoin. So if you wasn't one of those lucky few individuals that got Bitcoin early, then you're pretty much outside of that bubble. You are now in a centralized environment. Bitcoin is centralized. America owns the most Bitcoin in the world. What I find funny, what makes me raise my eyebrow, is back in 2008 with the financial crisis, there was influx in money printing. They was printing money like crazy. And then Bitcoin was born. You know, so ever since 2008, there's been like $8 trillion excess money being printed. And ever since Bitcoin has established, that value has been going up, while the value of the dollar has been going down. The more money we print, the more or less the value of the dollar becomes. So as that dollar is going down and Bitcoin's going up, and America now owns most of the Bitcoin, it makes you say, you know, it's a little interesting. So, and then outside of that, you got this company called Tether that's a stablecoin, supposed to be pegged 1-to-1 to the dollar, and the dollar is actually devaluing, so I'm not sure how stable that may be. And on top of that, the dollar is only backed by bonds, and a lot of countries are selling USA government bonds. But so Tether is supposed to be a stable coin backed 1-to-1 to the dollar. And the dollar, what is the value of the dollar? What is the value of fiat currency? Fiat currency is valued according to the government, the trust in the government. And a lot of people ain't trusting this government that's $33 trillion in debt. Would you borrow money? Would you lend money to someone that's $1 trillion in debt thinking that you're going to get paid back? Nah. You know what I'm saying? So besides that trust, we got government bonds that countries used to buy because they have faith in the U.S. economy. But now a lot of countries are dumping U.S. bonds. But who's buying up the U.S. bonds? This company named Tether. It is a mindfuck, you know? So Tether pegged 1-to-1 to a devaluing dollar, you know, so it's not stable. The dollar is backed by government bonds that's losing value, and Tether is also buying those bonds. And then Tether also props up the price of Bitcoin. So while everybody's going crazy about Bitcoin, that is manufactured. You know? So it's really interesting. I find it really interesting. I find it kind of crazy. It's really a clusterfuck of a situation. So what I like to do is I like to invest in ISO 222 cryptocurrencies. That's XRP, XLM, XDC, Algo, Quant, all of these payment rails, all of these software protocols that's going to help out the new financial system. You know what I'm saying? These networks, they will need these networks, these technologies for the rollout of the CBDCs and etc. Like they're going to need XRP for cross-border payments, wholesale. They're going to need XLM for retail payments. These technologies are actually being used around the world. It's just in America, for some reason, we're having a hard time. You know what I'm saying? I guess because they don't want to fuck up competition, which is Bitcoin. You know, they're holding all the Bitcoin, so they don't want nothing to pop over that. So that's my safest bet. Just like, for example, to give you an illustration, there's a gold mine going on. Everybody's searching for gold, right? I'm invested in the tools to give the gold miners for the gold. Those tools are valuable too. You know what I'm saying? And that's the ISO 222 cryptocurrencies. That's my safest bet. You feel me? I know these companies ain't going nowhere. It's global, recognized globally, and to me, it's a sure thing. Not financial advice. And my phone is overheating. I didn't expect it to be so damn hot today. So I'm just gonna end it here. Look out for the next one. I'm gonna get back on the swing of things. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get back into rhythm. I've been in the back end working on a whole lot of projects, so many things in the back end that I should have took care of during the during the bear season when everything was boring. Now we're in the bull season and everything is popping. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's still early. But keep up with me on the Freedom Culture. Peace, love, and respect. Holla at me. Be careful. Don't follow these trends and all that stuff. A lot of people don't know what they're talking about. Even if they look like they know what they're talking about, take it with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Because you'd be surprised. But later, hope you have a good day. Peace, love, respect.